So something about me is I used to be a prosecutor, which means my job was to use evidence that cops gathered to charge people with crimes and put them in jail. And so I recognize that the January 6th riot and the ensuing pardons and the aftermath, I understand that that probably hits me different than it hits a lot of people. But as a society and as people who care about the rule of law, I think we should never let go of the fact that Trump pardoned dozens of criminals who violently attacked cops. I know this isn't in the news, but for whatever reason, it's been on my mind in the last recently. And I want to be clear. I'm talking about people who pled guilty, who admitted to attacking cops, or who were convicted by a jury of their peers. It wasn't Merrick Garland throwing people in jail. It was a jury of random people from the community weighing evidence against people who were defended by defense attorneys who had all the constitutional protections that Trump had when he was charged with crimes. And the juries unanimously found them guilty of crimes. There were more than 140 cops injured on January 6th as a result of violent attacks from criminals. And the people who attacked cops, many of whom admitted to it, got away with it because Trump pardoned them. Honestly, Democrats and we as a society should never, ever let that go. Every Republican should be asked by Democrats, by the media, in debates. Every Republican should be asked, was it okay to pardon these criminals? Specifically, was it okay to pardon David Dempsey, who pled guilty to attacking cops? It was given a 20-year sentence for viciously assaulting and injuring police officers at the Capitol, climbing over other rioters like human scaffolding to reach the crowd. There he began a prolonged attack on law enforcement using his hands, flagpoles, broken furniture, pepper spray, and anything else he could get his hands on. How about Shane Jenkins? He was convicted by a jury of his peers and sentenced to 7 years. He disassembled wooden furniture for makeshift weapons and hurled 9 different objects at police, including a solid wooden desk drawer, a flagpole, a metal walking stick, and a broken wooden pole with a spear-like point which he launched like a javelin. Last one. How about Thomas Webster, again convicted by a jury of his peers and given a 10-year sentence? He assaulted a police officer with a metal flagpole and attempted to rip off his gas mask. Webster slammed a bike rack at the cop, swung the metal flagpole at him, tackled him to the ground and grabbed his gas mask, choking him by the chin strap as other rioters kicked him. Look, the real political value here is not that you say this and Republicans are going to break down in tears, the scales will fall from their eyes, and they'll see the light. That's not the value here. The point here is that according to the orthodoxy in the modern Republican Party, they can't say no. The orthodoxy in the Republican Party now is you can't oppose Trump's line. And Trump's line is that every one of those people is innocent, that they're political prisoners, including the people who admitted to attacking cops, including people who were convicted by a jury of their peers for attacking cops. I acknowledge that there is a valid and well-earned tension between the left and cops. I understand that. But having worked with a lot of cops, having known a lot of cops, there are a lot of cops, not all, but there are a lot of cops who raise their hand and work hard to protect people. That day, there were cops standing in the breach protecting Congress so that Congress could continue the machinery of democracy without being attacked violently. Those people, those cops, were attacked and injured, and the people who admitted to it and were convicted of it were allowed to go free by the president. And I hope wherever you stand in politics, we can agree that that's bad. January 6th, 2021 was an insane history-making day. And it is an unbelievable, wild abdication of responsibility to just let it fly by because you lost an election. Democrats need to do better in so many ways, but I can't believe they let this go. And frankly, they don't have to. I'm not sure why that has been on my mind, but I had to post that because it blows me away that we just all moved on from that. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Chris with How to Politics.